guys? Welcome to another vlog. Don't forget, if you want to watch more vlogs like this one, click that subscribe button. In October of 2021, I told my friend Phil about the Workaway program, and he was very interested, so he created an account and we linked our accounts together. And then Phil got his first reply back, and the Workaway opportunity was at a winery. So in northern Italy, due south of Milan, about halfway between Milan and Genoa, they ran a winery from their home. It's called Oasi di Mastarone, and it's in an area called Monperone. And the name of their winery is called Il Vino e le Rose, which means the wine and the rose. And the woman Phil had been speaking to, her partner, Massimiliano, was the head vintner at the winery. And Massimiliano had vineyards in an area called Langhe, which is in Piemonte, and it's very famous for a type of grape called the Nebbiolo that makes up some of the area's most prestigious wines, such as Barolo and Barbaresco. So it just so happened this was harvest time and they needed a lot of help at the winery. So I planned to meet Phil in Milan. So I flew into Milan and got to fly over the Alps, and it was amazing. It was the most beautiful plane ride. So I met Phil in Milan, and it turns out that another workawayer, this guy Thomas, was going to be coming to the winery at the same time to volunteer. So we were going to meet him in Milan and all drive down there together. And it ended up all working out. We met Thomas there. He was from Seattle. He was a really awesome dude, traveling, spoke a little Italian, had spent some time in Bologna before. So we drove to Massimiliano's estate in Monperone. And Massimiliano and his partner Jen were warm and welcoming, and they had a couple other workers staying with them. And this one guy, Leo, was awesome. He kind of showed us our projects for the day, and he also spoke English really well too. Both Leo and Massimiliano were great on guitar, which I got to see both of them play while I was there. It was awesome. So it was the end of the harvest season, and the Nebbiolo grape in particular needs to stay on the vines a little bit longer. So Massimiliano had figured out that the perfect time to harvest was on the Thursday of that week. So that was when we would pick all the grapes. And in the meantime, there were many other tasks to keep us busy as far as the day-to-day operations of running a winery. These are the tanks the wine's stored in. Oh wait, not these ones. These ones. One of the daily tasks was to connect this hose to a pump and circulate the wine that was fermenting inside the big tanks to aerate it and kind of move some of the sediment around. So Massimiliano also made a sparkling wine in the style of champagne. So we were lucky enough to be there when that delicious liquid was finished its fermentation and ready to be bottled. So I got to help out Massimiliano and his father Orfeo in our bottling operation here. So I got to do everything from filling the bottles, capping the bottles, putting labels on the bottles, and running crates and crates of bottles up and down the stairs as they became full. So Massimiliano had some state-of-the-art winemaking equipment, like this big old grape crusher here.
Is programmed, I think, in PLC program language. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure. So I'm an engineer, you don't know PLC. But I'm not sure. In the back, when the machine.
Oh, of all cycles?
Yeah, also the process.
It goes
yes.
through all cycles though?
Just 1, 2, 3, 4 steps.
What are the steps?
The steps is the first steps.
On harvest day, we all got up at the crack of dawn, piled into 2 vans, and stopped at a little cafe in town to get our double espresso, hit the road, and we arrived in Langhe by 9 o'clock in the morning or so. And we talked to Massimiliano's friend, who was kind of the vineyard manager. He set us up with all the bins for collecting the grapes. We had a very quick lesson on how to use the scissors for cutting the grapes. And we learned what to take and what not to take. But the area we were harvesting in Langhe was just beautiful. I wish I had more video of it. We harvested grapes all morning long into the early afternoon. I can't remember all the Italian winemaking terminology that we learned at the time, but I think the cases that we filled up full of the grapes were called the casetas. Yeah, we must have filled up dozens and dozens of casetas, and we piled them into one of the vans that Massimiliano had rented to transport them back to his place in Massarone. So we finished the harvest in good spirits, very sticky. Fortunately, I didn't get any bee stings, but I rode shotgun with Massimiliano. And I don't know if it's something they put in the water in Italy, but that guy drives fast. So we got back to the homestead long before the others had returned. But even though we had finished the harvest, the day was not done, because now we had to juice all those grapes. If they sit there in those casetas with all that weight on them, it's going to cause them to break down, and the fermentation process is going to get jump-started a lot earlier. It's going to ruin everything. So after dinner for the rest of the evening, we rolled out that grape crushing machine. So part of the process too was using a de-stemming machine that just rips all the stems out and leaves just the grapes behind.